Hey, I'm Brandon with RevZilla, and today on Ride Tested, we are checking out the Hotwired heated jacket. I've been using this one for quite some time now. It's very simple to install, very easy to utilize, and I'm telling you now, if you've not used heated gear in the winter riding months or the colder riding season, I'm telling you, it is a total game changer. So without further ado, let's grab a bike and check it out.
So I wanted to talk to you guys today about the Hotwired heated jacket. This is actually my third season utilizing this jacket. I do really like it. Obviously, that's why I'm here on the bike chatting with you about it today. And it is underneath. This is the Reax Jackson leather jacket here on the outside. And then underneath that is where that 12-volt heated jacket liner sits. Pretty much all heated jackets are designed to fit under your existing gear. Obviously, there's a few outliers out there, like Gerbing. They have pretty bomb-proof, waterproof heated jacket that has all the armor and all those tidbits that you get from your normal jacket, but more often than not, heated jacket liners and pants and things like that are designed to go under your existing gear. So I've been using the 12-volt heated jacket for quite some time now, and it's worked incredibly well, like surprisingly well, to be totally honest, because it is actually one of the more economical options, and they actually have the controller incorporated into the jacket itself, and not all manufacturers are out there doing that, so I do like the added savings. And man, it does get really, really warm. I was actually in the city earlier zipping around, and the high today is about 50 degrees. And I was about to start sweating in the hottest temperature setting, so I had to actually turn it down. But now I'm close to the water. It's a little bit cooler out here on some of these little back roads in the suburbs around Philly. But you've got three settings with the jacket. There's a low, medium, and high. Yellow is low, green is the medium, and then the red is the highest setting, which I've got it on now. And it works really well. Now, one of the things I like is that the heated controller, again, as I mentioned before, is built into the jacket. No need to buy additional controllers to manipulate the settings and to utilize the jacket. Additionally, the jacket includes the wiring harness that goes directly to your bike's battery. That is another benefit that, again, not all manufacturers provide that, which is kind of crazy to me. So you do have that added benefit, but I will say the controller, the actual placement of the controller itself, when you're riding, depending on what bike you're on, it can kind of bunch up underneath your outer jacket, and you can actually end up clicking that button and changing the heated settings while you're riding. It doesn't happen all the time, but it has happened a handful of times, enough to where I think it's something worth noting. So if I could change anything, I would give this a bit of a longer tail on the jacket itself, just to make it a little bit more easy to utilize and to manipulate. And the other thing is, you kind of have to take your eyes off the road if you want to adjust the settings. You don't really. You can feel around and press it if you want and hope to guesstimate what setting you're in. But with big, bulky gloves on, it's probably best to take a quick peek at it and make sure you're in the right setting there. The other thing on that note is that if you've got a longer jacket, it may cover that button completely. Like I have a Sedici jacket that's waterproof and very comfortable, and I often wear textiles, especially in the winter riding season, because they have that waterproof layer often, which helps block the wind and in case you hit any inclement weather, of course. But it's a little bit longer. It's kind of more of a 3/4 jacket, and it covers up that button completely. So I have to kind of dig underneath my jacket to manipulate it. Not a big deal, because I'm not very often, going back and forth from settings. I usually kind of set it and forget it. Once I get into the city, I'm riding at those lower speeds, I might turn it down a notch or two, just because you're not going as fast, you're not getting all that wind, and this stuff does work. It gets very warm, very hot, very quickly too. So it does work, trust me. I actually just wrote an article on Common Tread about heated gear. So if you're looking for some additional insight there, I did break down some of my favorites, answered some common questions, and just talked about heated gear in general and just kind of my experience with it. Now, some common questions that I get in particular with a heated jacket, a lot of people ask me, should I go with a heated jacket or go with a vest? Now, for my personal opinion, my personal experience, I like the heated jacket just because it covers the sleeves as well. But I can see, if you've got a tight-fitting jacket, or maybe you work out a lot, you've got big biceps and forearms, and material tends to bunch up with your jackets that you wear often, I can certainly see the vest being beneficial there, because, you don't have all that material in the sleeves. And really a part of, keeping your body nice and warm is really going to be keeping your core nice and warm. And then generally the rest follows suit, your extremities, your fingers, your toes, things like that. So the vest does come in handy. Personally, I prefer the long sleeve jacket. Just gives you a bit more heat there, but to each their own. I can see the benefits to both for sure. Now, as you can see, I've got a bit of a cable here popping out of my seat. I am technically tethered to the motorcycle right now. The downside there is if you get off of the bike and you forget you're tethered, you're going to pull on that cable. Trust me, you're going to do it. It doesn't matter how often you ride with heated gear, especially the start of the season. You'll probably forget and go to walk off your bike, and then you're pulling on that cable. Not a big deal. Just leave yourself a little bit of tail. You know, don't secure things down underneath the seat very tightly, just in case you do pull that cable. It's not going to pull directly on the cables of the jacket or anything like that. It's just going to pull on that harness itself. So just something to keep in mind there. But the big advantage of 12 volts, or using the 12 volt heated gear, is that it's continuous power. You have no limitations of time, and it is more powerful than the 7 volt options. With these 7 volt options, the downside for most motorcyclists is you are going to have a time restriction with those rechargeable batteries. So that is something to keep in mind as well. If you're commuting fairly long distances and, you know, maybe you're touring with your buddies and you're riding the fall season and you just want that continuous power, from my experience, I pretty much cut in half whatever the manufacturer says for how long the 7 volt batteries will last before they need to recharge. That's just been my experience. Might be a little over dramatic there, but they do not last as long as what the manufacturers say. They certainly do not. The benefit is, you know, you can use it outside of riding a motorcycle, right? If you're you know, maybe you're a hunter or something like that, sitting in a tree stand, you can use heated gloves and heated jacket liners, those 7 volt options, to keep you warm in those applications. You don't obviously need a motorcycle, but all things to consider. But I've been very impressed with this option from Hotwired. It's very simple. It's super crazy easy to set up. If you can turn a screw, you can plug this up to your motorcycle's battery. And again, you don't have to purchase any additional controllers or wire harnesses or anything like that. It comes with everything you need. Just plug it up to your battery, plug in your gear, and you're all set. You're good to go. If you are looking for an economically priced heated jacket liner, you know, they've got the gloves, there's pants, all that kind of stuff. I would definitely check out the Hotwired stuff. Save you a few bucks, and trust me, it's powerful enough to make you sweat. So it's certainly not lacking and the overall capabilities here of keeping you warm. But hopefully that gives you some additional insight. If you have any questions, guys, please, as always, do not hesitate to reach out. Happy to answer any questions for you and just give you some additional insight in my experience with other brands or whatever questions you might have related to heated gear. And I'll drop a link to that Common Tread article as well. I think there's some good stuff in there. Hopefully you guys are out there getting in some ride time, staying safe out on 2 wheels. As always, keep it pinned.